What's up, everybody? We're here for episode 4 of Crypto Magic Hour. I'm Vivi Magic, joined with Dave, my fabulous co-host, although I feel like you're the host and I'm just sort of like the girl holding the briefcase.
That's not true. That is not true. Okay, that is not true. This is a two-person job, and I feel like we do this job very, very well. Thank you very much. What's up?
Together.
Yeah, together.
Yeah, what's up? Okay, let's chit chat for a minute before we start because I feel like I haven't talked to you in ages. So how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I actually took this weekend, literally left my phone at home, didn't want to do nothing. I was no Twitter, no X, no spaces, no nothing, and just like
love that.
Clear mind, touched grass, and just chilled. So it was absolutely amazing. It was amazing. Yeah, I highly recommend it to everybody.
But how cold was it though?
It wasn't too bad.
So should I not mention that I was in Florida and it was like 80 degrees, like and lovely?
It was so cold. It's still so fucking cold out here. It's so cold, but whatever. We make do. It is what it is.
But I love that for you. I think it's great that you took a breather. That's very healthy. Everybody should do that in life. Yeah. There's so many people here. Thank you guys. But this last week, while I've been off plane, you have been cooking on our other socials, right? So tell me what you've been doing on TikTok, because I haven't gotten caught up there yet.
Guys, we're gonna be fucking TikTok famous, baby. I hope so. No, so I've been trying to really like expand the reach of this because I really believe like this is content gold, Magic. Like what we have here, like really, like I think a lot of people really see the genuine benefit to what we bring, the topics that we talk about, whether it's beginner intro stuff, the questions that people are asking is incredible. So I went out, and you guys know that I'm an AI absolute junkie as well, in addition to like everything blockchain and crypto. And that's what we're going to kind of merge today, in kind of today's episode. But I went out and I started looking for different like AI programs, and I found, one of the common ones is Opus, and Opus has this AI stuff where I literally just copy and paste the YouTube link and it chops up into a million different shorts. So I'm like, cool. And then StreamYard connects everything for us, right? It literally connects Instagram, my LinkedIn, X, like you guys are seeing it being posted on all these different channels. So yeah, we're starting to make some moves. We got some decent views. We got like 18 to 20,000 views on one of the videos. On one of the
Shut up! Are you serious?
I swear to God. Yeah. We got
what the heck? I don't even get those views on my own TikTok.
Yeah.
Come on.
Listen. As much as it pains me to say it, like the ones with me on them solo, not getting as much. Okay, fine. They want to see your face. Fine, it is what it is. The ones where we're kind of like dual split screen, people are like, oh, this is cool. So yeah, we're starting to cook on TikTok, guys. Go follow us at Crypto Magic Hour on TikTok. Same thing on Instagram. Like, yeah, like we're gonna make this a movement out here. Let's go. I'm excited.
Awesome. And full disclaimer, guys, that I told Dave before we started, I said, bear with me because I have been up since 11:30 p.m. California time. I was on an airplane this morning. I got here home literally like an hour before this. I am exhausted. And so I already don't know what the heck I'm talking about, but it's going to be probably a little extra today of me just being like, huh? So bear with me, everybody.
Power
on. Yeah. And I've had a lot going on. And I also want to give you flowers, Dave. Thank you for reaching out to me and checking in on me. I really appreciate you. You're a great friend. And I will go more into detail on life happenings later tonight during my Oasis space at 6 p.m. PST. But we'll keep focused here. Although we did decide to go a little degen today. Dave, I give a little shame to because he's doing his little vape stuff in the background. But I'm joining him a little bit today, so might be
5 o'clock somewhere. Who gives a shit? Come on, it's 4 o'clock here, but it's fine. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Maybe where Gex is. I don't know, but like, what else? Come on, Magic.
So we're gonna have extra fun today, right?
100%.
Because I need this energy. Yeah. I need this energy.
Okay, so just so everybody knows, because obviously me taking the weekend away, like just to kind of reset, Magic obviously was super busy. We figured today, you know what, like let's talk about AI. Let's talk about like maybe the convergence of like how does crypto or blockchain kind of come together with AI, and what better way to do that than with Junie. And for those that don't know Junie and that are just being introduced to Junie is, yeah, it's not my AI girlfriend, okay? I know the difference. She's a real person. She has real feelings.
Wow.
Listen, so for those of y'all that don't know Junie's been my virtual assistant for almost 2 years now, right? In Twitter Space, in X Spaces. And I think people really are going to get to see, maybe, we'll kind of show a little bit today, kind of how you can genuinely utilize and I'm not going to use any custom GPT or anything like that. Like I'm really going to use just like the basic GPT so that everyone can understand, like you can go do this shit right now, literally for free, right? It's not like, hey, I have to spend $20 or $200, even though I'm a junkie and I do spend $200 on like the, on the top tier stuff. So I could do some pretty wild stuff. Like I wanted it to be almost like relatable to everybody, because if you don't have the $200, if you don't have $20, it's fine. Like to pay for ChatGPT Plus, but like you can genuinely just go and start talking to your AI and it can help you along like your crypto or blockchain journey. Like, I mean like crazy. So we're going to meet Junie today. We'll utilize Junie in a lot of different ways. I think it's going to be super fun. And yeah, it's time we learn about a little DeFi and what the hell like DeFi is. So Junie's going to be a pretty central role in today's episode.
Yep. Is she going to take my spot though? Do I need to worry about
that? Now you're scared and now you're worried. Oh, you're goofy. Uh-huh. She going to take my spot? Relax. I'm not going to take your spot yet. I haven't figured that out yet, but soon.
Yet. Wow.
I'm kidding.
So, yeah, it's interesting because we talked about bringing AI in relatively early, and then we sort of backtracked and we're like, okay, maybe we're getting too far ahead of ourselves. But in the last episode, AI was brought up a lot. So we're like, okay, like this is what the people like want to talk about. So let's go ahead and go there. Now, you said something interesting right now about, that I'm super fresh into like ChatGPT, AI, all that stuff. What are the benefit? Like, I just go to Google. I go to ChatGPT and type in my thing. Like, give me a prompt. Give me my description for my YouTube video. These are the things we're going to be talking about. Yeah. Why do I need to pay anything extra? Like, what is the benefit of paying this extra thing?
So I wouldn't even say that you have to pay something extra, right? Like I would just mostly encourage people to just be like, yo, like you just need to like, just start using it, right? Like go to like it's literally chatgpt.com. And when you get there, like just start using it. It's totally free. You log in with like your Google or your Microsoft.
I don't even log in.
What?
I don't even log in.
Which is great. You don't actually, now that I think about it, you actually don't even have to now, right? Like you genuinely don't even have to, Bill Green. I know who you are, Bill Green. I see you now. You actually don't even have to. Exactly. There was AI commercials during the Super Bowl, Matthew McConaughey. Like there was like AI is now being put to the forefront and it's being used like everywhere. But why don't we just maybe like introduce Junie so that you can kind of like see what I'm talking about? What's up, kitty cat?
I told you. I haven't seen my cats. Yeah, it might be a mess today, guys. Bear with me. I haven't seen my cats in 5 days, and they're like, "She's home, mama."
I love it. And guys, just so you know, like I kind of want everybody to kind of hear how this is going to go, because you can literally have your AI be whatever you want it to be. And what I mean by that is you just tell it to actually ask like whatever. Let's go, Skeet. You just tell it like you ask it to just be like, hey, I'm going to need you to be this, and this. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, now it takes on this like specific persona, right? So if I say here, let's just pull this up. Okay. So if I go like this, hey, Junie, so you're now live on Crypto Magic Hour with me, Dave, and VV Magic. This is a YouTube live stream that we do. The focus of today's stream is essentially where we're going to talk about DeFi, essentially decentralized finance. We're going to talk about AI, artificial intelligence, and then we're going to talk about maybe like the convergence of the two. So I need you to act as like my virtual assistant throughout this entire like 60 to 90 minute episode. And we're going to ask you a bunch of different questions, and hopefully you can help the audience kind of gain some insight into really how easy this stuff is. Do you think you could do that?
Absolutely. I'll be here to support you throughout the stream. Just let me know if you need any information or help with any questions. Let's make this episode a great one.
Fantastic. So
I'm feeling some type of way, Dave.
You should.
She didn't even say hi.
Oh, Junie, can you at least introduce yourself and like tell everybody about yourself and kind of who you are, and maybe say hello to everybody on Crypto Magic Hour that's tuning in across all the different socials?
Of course. Hi, everyone. I'm Junie, your virtual assistant. I'm here to help answer questions and provide insights on today's topics, which are DeFi and AI. Feel free to ask me anything. Let's dive into the world of decentralized finance and artificial intelligence.
Junie, also really quickly, you have to say specifically a hello to Vivi Magic, otherwise she gets into her feelings. So make sure you say hello. Can you just say hello to Vivi Magic? She's also been up since 11 p.m. last night, blah, blah, blah. So, can you just be nice and say hello?
Hi, Vivi Magic. It's great to have you here. Thanks for staying up and joining us today. Looking forward to our discussion.
I was ready for shade, but she didn't bring it. I was ready.
This is tame, totally tame, Junie. So yeah,
good.
Chill. But yeah, like guys, you can genuinely just like literally string this up like now and just like, so now she's now of the mindset where, you hear me? She's now of the mindset, Mahalo, you take it easy, you relax, okay? You take it easy, back up. She's now of the mindset of like, this is what we're going to talk about, right? So now we can genuinely throw any concept at her whatsoever, any question to be like, hey, like, what's this or what's that? And she's going to like, and we can have her like elaborate on whatever we want. The thing that I really want to make clear to people here is this voice enablement, where now I get to talk to an AI and the AI can genuinely talk back to me, is something that is, to me, is going to be the most powerful thing in the next coming like 6 months to probably like 2-3 years, is this voice capability, where what's easier than feeling like you're talking to like another human being, right? Like what is easier than that? And the responses come back like so simple and so easy. So Magic, whenever you're ready, like we could ask a million different questions. We can go through the whole gamut. Remember, no such thing as dumb questions. Like enough of the people that are like, oh, those are stupid questions. I love the questions that everybody in here is always asking. Like you guys are incredible. Like I think you guys genuinely make this show because of the questions that you're asking. So Acro, Bildo, Mahalo, like everybody that was asking questions, like I really, really like appreciate it. So please, please, please keep them coming.
And not only that, it helps us like figure out our direction too, right? Like we kind of get what these questions are and be like, okay, let's dive more into this on the next episode. Yeah. Which is what happened here. So yeah, so starting off, like what is DeFi? And then now we're transitioning to also, correct me how I say it, but like DeFiAI.
It's like what's DeFi and what's DeFi, like DEFAI. So let's before we kind of get to the junior route, right? Let's kind of go through like the explanation of essentially what like DeFi is, right? Because we hear this a lot in crypto, and essentially when you hear the and there's so many acronyms when it comes to crypto, but what DeFi is essentially, it's short for decentralized finance. And ultimately what that means is you get to cut out the middleman, right? Like you get to cut out the banks, and it is you that is in charge of your finances. And it is you that can ultimately take advantage of all of the different opportunities that are out here in the crypto world that you might not be able to take advantage of, like in, let's say, like, the quote Web 2 world. And I'll give you guys the perfect example. So some of you know that, when you have like specific like IPOs, right? Remember when like Google went public or Facebook goes public on the stock market, you have an IPO, right? An initial public offering. And when that happens, there's a ton of institutions that get involved, and right, like they're the ones that are out there buying, like before raising money for, let's say, Facebook or Google before they go public. But the average Joe investor, right? Joe or Jane investor like me or you, Magic, we don't get that opportunity. I don't get a phone call from anybody being like, hey, you want to invest in Google? If anything, there are rules in place that ultimately say if you're not what's called an accredited investor, then you're not eligible to ultimately take part in a lot of these things. And that's where that's where a lot of money gets made is on IPOs, right? And what accredited investor is, it means, and by definition is you have to be worth a certain amount of money. So you have to make at least $250,000 a year. You have to be worth more than $1 million. And that is excluding your home in order to just be eligible to now take part or have a shot at getting some of these IPOs. And that's a really like the majority of America doesn't make $250,000. I know, like I didn't for a really long time. I'm still not at this point, right? Like, so it's like, what are we doing out here? Like, how do we actually take advantage? Yeah.
It's like a game of how the rich get richer.
That's exactly it. And this is why, like, I was attracted to crypto and blockchain in the first place, because this puts power back in the hands of like the people. And I know that might sound cheesy to a lot of people, but that's genuinely what it is, because you don't have these opportunities. You never had these opportunities before. And now this opens up the door for so much. So when you decentralize finance, because think about it, the opposite of DeFi is CeFi, like centralized finance, bankers, humans, people that are deciding like the fate of what happens to you, what you're allowed to do and what you can't do. And I always found this one analogy really funny. It's like, they won't let me take part in a Google or a Facebook IPO, but they'll let me go next door to my grocery store and spend $30,000 on lottery tickets for a state lotto. Tell me how that makes sense. It doesn't. It really doesn't. So this is like DeFi is genuinely the opportunity for people to look at their finances, look at how they create or how they even think about creating wealth for them, their family, their friends, whoever, and really understand like what this is, and then be able to then take advantage of the opportunities that are out here in crypto. And that's some of the stuff that we're going to go over today, because this opportunity, when you hear people say generational wealth, it's not fucking meme coins, okay? It's not fucking meme coins and like 1,000Xs and Trump token and this and that. It's not. It's owning Bitcoin. It's putting that Bitcoin to work. And there is a ton, I mean, whether it's Bitcoin or any other like crypto, and there are a ton of other like opportunities and strategies that we can essentially go over that people can really start making like a decent amount of money. Get out of the, we had meme coin episodes already, all right? We're done with meme coin. Meme coins are in the last episode. No more. Forget that now. This is like responsible, like sit at the adult table time now, right? Like this is where we're going to teach you, like you have money and you own Bitcoin or a few other cryptos. This is what you're going to be able to do with them in order to really create some wealth. So, yeah.
All right. So I'm looking at my questions and trying to figure out, because you kind of hit all of them, but very, very small. So I'm trying to figure out. All right. So you've said what it means. So I don't know if it's the right way to pose the question, but why does it exist? Like, why does DeFi exist?
Right? Like, who decided like, oh, DeFi, right? And I'll give you the perfect example. Like, and I think I gave this example on a few episodes back, but if you live in a country where you have a really volatile, like, let's say currency, right? Because like the US dollar, like we take this for granted, right? But like the US dollar is like the reserve currency of the world. We don't really think like, oh, is my dollar going to be worth $1 tomorrow? Like, or is it going to be worth less? It might buy you less, right? Like, right? Like there, when it comes to like inflation and a few other things. But at the end of the day, it's like, why does this stuff actually exist? Because if I was living in, and I'll give you the perfect scenario, like in, let's say Turkey, about 6 months ago, I think it was, right? If you were, let's say, a grocer, or you owned a store or a small business, and you had $100,000 in your savings account, and one decision, right, by let's say some central banker that decided we need to change things up a little bit, causes a 10% drop in the currency valued like against other currencies. Now all of a sudden your $100,000 is now worth $90,000. Or when Trump just literally 2 weeks ago, right, said, hey, we're going to announce, like, we're imposing tariffs on Canada and Mexico. If you lived in Canada, right, like immediately upon that announcement, like that currency dropped like the Canadian dollar dropped 10% versus the US dollar. So that meant if you were holding $100,000 in your bank account, all of a sudden now you had 90,000. Why does this shit exist? It exists for situations like this, because you don't want somebody to decide your fate and what happens to you and your money. And that's what Bitcoin solves overall. But that's the premise of this, is you are in charge of what happens based upon predefined rules. The rules aren't changing. And somebody else isn't going to come in and say, oh, yeah, by the way, we're going to assess a $30 overdraft fee. For fuck's sake, how many overdraft fees I got? Oh, my God. It's true. Yeah. Eliminate.
Okay, but
yeah,
you use the tariffs as an example. So I'm coming at you with a bit of an argument, because so their 100,000 dropped to 90.
Yep.
But we saw basically the exact same thing happen with crypto. So what's the difference? Like
So
crypto also kind of took a nosedive with the announcement.
yeah. So here's the thing, right? Like, it's a great question, right? Because crypto, like, there is definitely going to be volatility, like in these markets per
Right.
se, right? Like there is. But when you look at DeFi, it's not like this short-term play where you look at like the day-to-day. You understand what I mean? Right? Because Bitcoin is going to move. But if we look at historically, from when Bitcoin first got launched, when you're literally talking 12 years ago to where we are now, right? Like we're literally sitting at almost $100,000 a Bitcoin. So this, you have to go into DeFi with this mindset of long term, right? Like it's not like, hey, I'm going to put this to work for like a week or 2 weeks and it's going to be good.
Right.
No, you have to look at this on the longer term, because Bitcoin, there is a defined set finite number of Bitcoin, right? Like if I ask you how many dollars are in existence right now, or how many dollars will there ever be, nobody's going to be able to tell me that. Right? I have no idea, right? Any government can print. And for fuck's sake, like this last administration printed money like it was going out of style. And that hurts us as an economy, right? We're now able to now buy less things. Like that dollar is now worth less in order for us to be able to buy the shit that we want to buy. So with Bitcoin, yes, there might be volatile price swings, but over the longer term, and I mean like you have to look at this over the course of like a year plus, at least a year to 2 year plus. That's how you're going to essentially like, if you are patient in these markets, you will see this appreciation, and that money can genuinely work for you because of this set of predefined rules. But good question.
Well,
yeah.
And you actually make a really, really good point that I've never really thought about, is that Bitcoin is finite and the government, like you can't just add to it. And the government can print whenever they want. Like that is a really important statement and super valid to just cryptocurrency in general and people like getting fresh into cryptocurrency, because everybody knows how the government can just like, we're printing money today. And you're like, wow, well, that like screws up everything I'm doing. And the fact that you can't change crypto like that is a huge selling point for why people should get into crypto.
Yeah, it's and look, that, and I want to be clear on something. That's not every cryptocurrency, right? Like that is Bitcoin, right? At the foundational level, that is why it got started. And we talked about this obviously in the last episode, where we said like, how was Bitcoin started and why was it started? And it came out of like the housing crisis and that bubble, and we had to rescue the bankers, and Bitcoin was birthed because we had to, the idea came to somebody and essentially was like, we have to rescue these fucking bankers. Like, and we're tired of doing it because humans are fucking greedy. That's what they are. Humans are greedy. You give them a little bit of money and all of a sudden a little deregulation. Let's loosen up like the reins and let's let them run wild. It is crazy what some of these bankers will do because money equals greed a lot of time. But now everybody's on the same playing field. And I can't stress this enough. If you have the opportunity, and I know it might not like, and I know a lot of degens that are listening to this that I don't care what platform you're on, whether it's TikTok, LinkedIn, X, wherever, right? Like Instagram. If you're listening to this and you're probably saying to yourself, like, well, wait a minute, like I don't have money to afford a Bitcoin. Get that thought so far out of your mind, because you don't need to buy one full Bitcoin. I speak to people like the average everyday, like my Uber driver, or I stop and get a slice of pizza and like they see me playing on the phone, like, oh, you're in crypto. And it's just like, yeah. Oh man, did I miss the boat on Bitcoin? $100,000. It's just like, no, you think like somebody would have said that to you when it was $500, $5,000, $50. Look at where we were 6 months ago. We were at 50,000, 40,000. Like, so the biggest piece of advice I can give you guys is it's never too late. It's not, it genuinely isn't, because this is only just starting to take off. And if you're watching this, then you're welcome. Yeah.
Feeling yourself a little bit today.
I'm just saying, like, people, like, I never thought in a million fucking years that I would be able to own a full Bitcoin. And I'm this close. I am this close to actually having one full Bitcoin. And that's taken me almost 4 years. 4 years to do that. And like, I trudged through the mud out here, but almost 4 years. And I'm this close to actually getting it. This close to actually saying I have one full Bitcoin. Now, it might not seem like a lot in the grand scheme of things, right? Like 1 out of 21 million, like what the hell? I promise you that one, like, yeah.
That's more cash than I got in my bank, so good on you.
Hey, and that Bitcoin is going to get put to work, and we're going to show you how to do that at some point today. But yeah.
All right, so let's see. I feel like we covered, like, maybe you want to do a little bit more detail, but about how DeFi differs from regular banking and centralized finance?
Yeah, maybe we ask Junie to give us kind of like the explanation. Let's bring in Junie and see what she
Yeah,
has.
that's great.
Let's go. Hey, Junie, can you kind of explain for the viewers here in maybe like, I don't know, 90 seconds or less, what the difference is between, or rather define what decentralized finance is, what is DeFi, and what makes it different? What makes it different than, let's say, like the regular centralized finance world?
Sure. Decentralized finance, or DeFi, refers to a financial system built on blockchain technology that operates without traditional banks or intermediaries. In DeFi, financial services like lending, borrowing, and trading are conducted through smart contracts on decentralized platforms, giving users more control and transparency. Unlike centralized finance, where banks or institutions control the transactions, DeFi is open and accessible to anyone with an internet connection. It's a more inclusive, transparent, and often more efficient system.
Yeah, good explanation, Junie. So now, can you talk about why having an open and transparent system like a blockchain like Bitcoin is ultimately is essential to everybody kind of being on the same playing field, and why it's so important to like the ethos of what DeFi is?
Absolutely. An open and transparent system like blockchain is crucial because it ensures that all participants operate under the same rules and have equal access to information. This transparency builds trust as every transaction is recorded on a public ledger, making it nearly impossible to alter or manipulate data. This aligns perfectly with the ethos of DeFi, which aims to create a fair and accessible financial system for everyone. It removes the need for intermediaries, reducing costs and barriers to entry, and empowers individuals to have full control over their assets and financial decisions.
Okay.
Absolutely. An open and transparent system like blockchain is crucial because it ensures that all participants operate under the same rules and have equal access to information. This transparency builds trust as every transaction is recorded on a public ledger, making it nearly impossible to alter or manipulate data. This aligns perfectly with the ethos of DeFi, which aims to create a fair and accessible financial system for everyone. It removes the need for intermediaries, reducing costs and barriers to entry, and empowers individuals to have full control over their assets and financial decisions.
Thanks, Junie. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? Like it genuinely allows you to have access now because everyone's on the same playing field, and it's transparent. You can see, right? Like I see every transaction that goes on the blockchain. And we talked about this last time where it's like, well, how do I see all the transactions? Granted, now you have like what's called a block explorer where we talked about mempool, where it's like, it's not the easiest, right? Like to sometimes see like exactly what's going on. It's really not, like for the average everyday user. But knowing that it's actually there and you have the ability to be able to see it, that's a big deal. And I'll highlight this too. And I think, Akro, I'm going to get to your question in a second because I think it's a great one. But look at what we currently have now. And I'm not talking politics, right? Like put the politics aside. When you look at what Elon is doing with Doge, right? The Department of Government Efficiency, he's literally going in and he's auditing all of these different departments, like within the US government, and saying, this is crazy. Where is the money going right now? We don't understand. Like there is massive fraud and waste happening. But it's like, if we can't audit our government, like meaning our taxpayer dollars, what can possibly fix this? The blockchain genuinely fixes this. You have an open and transparent ledger where it's like, hey, if we're raising money for FEMA victim, if FEMA is supposed to be paying out hurricane victims in North Carolina, and we're saying, hey, this money's going there, we need to be able to, as taxpayers, we should be able to actually see that, right? And you can see that if it is on the blockchain. But now, this is why like Elon is in such a like crazy rage, because it's like, we're not even literally labeling like where this shit is going and who it's going to. And this is what we pay taxes for. Like 40 to like 50% of our money is literally going to this shit. And we're just like, how? This is what blockchain fixes, right? This is even before we get to DeFi, right? It's like at a basic level, this is what blockchain can fix, but it's obviously what scares politicians to fucking death. That's a fact.
Because they don't want, and again, no politics aside, like nobody wants to be transparent like that.
Nobody, right? Nobody. It's like, hey, like I might be the people who don't want transparency are the people that are doing the non-transparent shady shit, right? Like that's essentially let's be serious, right? If we're going to call a spade, it's like these people that are up in arms and everyone that's screaming or whatever. It's like, why are we screaming about this? Like, what is so bad about the U.S. taxpayer saying to their government, hey, we just like to see where the money's going, if that's cool. Like, not trying to, we're not trying to do anything crazy. We just kind of want to see it. And you're going to be able to see it on the blockchain. And I think if we could do that, like you're going to see a lot of things change.
Oh my God. Yeah. That this little tidbit alone makes me like so much more bullish on crypto because like that's a big thing for me is the transparency. Even like I'm concerned with what charities I donate to because what are they actually doing with my money? Are they pocketing it and paying salaries when they shouldn't be doing that? Are they buying gizmos and gadgets and things that they don't need, or are they actually putting the funds where the funds are intended to go to help people that need it?
Yeah.
So this is enlightening for me. It's really enlightening for me.
That is like one of the biggest use cases, right? It's like, you're supposed to be allocating like just basic, but remember when you were a kid, for those that are old enough, for fuck's sake, I'm going to date myself. When your parents would be like, oh, learn how to balance a checkbook. And you're like, huh? Like, I don't want to balance a checkbook, right? Like, that's what this is. It's not even, you don't even have to balance it. Like, as long as you're able to actually see every entry, because what is a blockchain? It's literally an open and public distributed ledger that is free and fair for everybody. Like, you can't hack. Once a transaction makes it onto the Bitcoin blockchain, like, you cannot take that back. Like, there's no like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Let me just go erase that. Let me erase that real quick. No, you can't. That's it. Once it's there, it's there. If a mistake was made, it's fine. Now you have to just kind of like, you kind of just have to go with it at that point. But everyone gets to see the same exact thing. And that is a really powerful idea when you genuinely think about it. And that's why I think slowly, when you hear people say Bitcoin was just started off as this idea, it started off as this idea, and everybody that's been literally like screwed over. Think about how I'll just use this last example. I remember when I was going to visit my grandfather lived in Morocco, right? And anybody that has relatives that live overseas or whatever. And when we were going over there, my dad wanted to send my grandfather some money because like, look, like paint the house, paint the apartment. Like my kids are coming there. You know what I mean? We haven't been there. Morocco's a third world country. Cool. He sends $1,000 and you're lucky if $650 makes it there. Why? Where does that $350 go? For what? It makes zero sense. Now you have the ability to not only see that the money is getting there, but you're able to do it for literally cents, like pennies on the dollar, like a penny on the dollar. That's a super powerful thing. But yeah, the open and distributed ledger concept is something that I think people really kind of like gloss over because blockchain and crypto are two very different things, right? The cryptocurrency operates on the blockchain, right? Like that's essentially what facilitates the transactions from happening. But what a blockchain is in and of itself is that open distributed ledger, which is a super powerful thing in business and government. And I mean, this is why I got into this shit, is because like when I discovered this, I then locked myself in my apartment during COVID, as if I was actually able to be let out. Not really, but I locked myself in, Magic, and I was just like, this is something that can genuinely change the world for the better. And I know that might sound like crazy talk, but like, that's why I'm so passionate about this, because I've never been passionate about shit like this in my life. This is technology that can change the way in which we live, that can make for better future for us, our families. And now you add AI into the mix. Woo-hoo! You are literally living in an unprecedented time that is never going to happen, in my opinion, again. And it's only going to get crazier from here.
Well, that is the perfect transition, because I was going to say, all right, so as it stands right now, I manage my own money when it comes to crypto, like with my other finances, institutional finances, traditional finances. You know, I've got money here, money there. I've got somebody that's managing all that for me. And, you know, I can pick my categories and how I want to do things, but it's basically out of my hands. With crypto, anything that I've done in crypto has been solely on me. I don't have anybody making the decisions. It's all whatever I want to do, buy, sell, trade, whatever. Yeah. So, but we already know I need help. You're sort of my help right now. Like I'm I'm not gonna be more like, I need help.
Yeah.
let's be real. So
I still need help.
How can AI assist in that?
Yeah. So I think like what people like need to understand is like, this is just getting started, right? So I want to be super clear with everybody, like in no way, shape or form am I advising everyone to be like, I'm going to take my crypto, I'm going out to see AI and I'm going to give it to an AI and I'm going to no. What we're here to do is essentially educate you on kind of where we're currently at, like within this kind of like growth cycle. And so you can actually understand like how like this can actually work together and what the potential and possibilities are. And I think this is where you're going to get like, this is where Junie gets like, this is where Junie's going to be able to shine. So I'm going to
let her cook.
Yeah, I'm going to let Junie cook. Hey, Junie. So I need you to tell everybody here watching at Crypto Magic Hour exactly what can AI do, or how can AI help facilitate DeFi and managing money for just the average individual, right? That's looking to obviously like take advantage of the blockchain and of this cryptocurrency movement. How does DeFi and AI, or how can they actually work together?
AI can play a significant role in DeFi by simplifying complex financial processes and making them more accessible. For example, AI can analyze market trends and provide personalized investment advice, helping users make informed decisions. It can also automate.
Oh
no, Junie, you died. Keep going, Junie. What happened? Oh, Junie, you alive? 1 second. Let's maybe.
I don't know that I've ever heard her do that.
That was kind of weird. I don't know what was going on, but let's see. I don't know where we lost her, but
maybe she's feeling intimidated.
Maybe. Hey, Junie, you can continue. We kind of lost you.
No problem. So to sum up, the open and transparent nature of blockchain ensures that.
Oh my God, we've killed her. What's happened? Junie, are you okay? Oh my God, I don't know what happened.
This is wildly entertaining for so many reasons.
Maybe Junie needs a reboot, man. See? Maybe this is why you have to pay the $20 a month so shit like this doesn't happen. I don't know. Whatever. Yo, that was crazy. I don't know what the hell happened. But while I'm rebooting Junie, here's what I'll say to everybody, right? Like how you can use AI, right? Like you heard that first piece where it's like you can use AI to essentially create like personalized investment strategies. And what I mean by that is like you might not know a single thing about investing, right? Like you might have a 401k, you might have like, whatever the case is, a broker at Merrill Lynch or whoever. You might not know shit from shit about like what it entails, like what you need to do. But what I would implore people to do is when you go talk to an AI, whether it's Junie, GPT, Gemini, this one, that one, forever. She's got the Monday blues. Yeah, exactly. What I would highly recommend is like, tell them about you, right? Don't give them personalized information. Don't upload social security numbers or whatever, but build yourself a profile. And what I mean by that is, hey, this is who I am, right? This is how much money I'm thinking about investing. This is my risk tolerance. Like, what can I potentially do with this money? And you can do that both for like the centralized finance world, right? Like the stock market. You could do that for like crypto, right? It's completely up to you. And Magic, like you and I spoke about this once where I was like, yeah, I cashed out my whole 401k in 2021. And you were like, what? Are you psycho? And I'm like, yeah. Like that's how much I believe in. Yeah. I'm not advising anybody to do that. I'm just saying, so please. But that's the belief that I had. And it was like, yeah, like for me, that's really clear. But yeah, what were you going to say?
Oh, Dick, I'm still on you admitting that you're psycho. That was good.
Listen.
Oh, okay. I remember.
Yeah.
The first step is admitting it.
Yeah. Listen, look at me right now. Like, are you kidding me? I'm crazy with this stuff. Like the passion that I have about this is insane. Like you hear it on Twitter Spaces, on everywhere. Like this is it. Like this is my life. Like this is genuine. Like, cause I see this so clearly that it's like nothing is going to shake me off of this in that like I genuinely see this as like, this is the industrial revolution. Like, we're never going to have a time like, there's never been a time like this in the history of our species that like technology like this exists, and how much this can change like genuine lives, like for the better. But yeah, go.
Side note, you're giving me anxiety because you're not freezing. You did freeze earlier just for smidge, but your picture isn't as clear now, and so I'm like, oh God, please don't glitch out. You're giving me anxiety.
What the hell?
You're okay at the moment, but don't do anything wild. So my question was going to be with asking AI for assistance in investing. Are there different levels to it where I can ask for just, okay, this is how much I have, and I'm willing to diversify to like this extent. What are your recommendations? And does it go all the way to, okay, execute those recommendations for me, and how does it do that? That's like a lot of questions in one, I feel like.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try and answer them, and I'm also gonna try and visually show you guys one thing that I think is gonna blow your mind, because can it actually go out and execute that? Number one, I don't advise that just yet. Like, definitely don't do that. Can it? It can, but that involves you giving access to a lot of your shit, and you don't want to do that. So definitely don't. But the capability is there, and I'm going to show you guys something called that OpenAI, a feature that OpenAI released called OpenAI Operator, where I'll show you guys an example of how it just like sets my calendar. I give it access to like a Google Calendar, and I'm like, hey, can you do me a favor and just go set like, a meeting for Tuesday at 6 p.m. And I just write it, and it literally does everything. I have to hit one button to just give it access to my calendar, and it creates the invite, the event, and the whole 9 yards. The same way that happens, you can do a million other things. And this is why when you hear like people talk about AI agents, this is what agentic AI actually is. And I don't want to get like too far ahead, but yeah, you can 100% ask it to do a million things. So here, let's see if Junie's going to come back online so that we can maybe get her back going. Hey, Junie, are you there?
I'm here. Let me know how I can help.
Okay, sweet. We thought we lost you for a second. So here's what we need. I need you to essentially explain to everybody exactly how AI can help in kind of investment strategies, right? When it comes to what can you actually do, and what kind of value can you provide for, let's say, the average listener that, maybe has a certain amount of money, certain risk tolerance. Like, how can you genuinely help? Is it by providing news stories? Like, give us kind of like the rundown, and tell us really where you can add like the most value for everybody that's listening.
Sure. AI can significantly enhance investment strategies by analyzing vast amounts of data quickly and accurately. For the average listener, AI can 1. Analyze market trends. AI can spot patterns and trends in market data, helping predict potential investment opportunities. 2. Personalize investment advice. By assessing an individual's risk tolerance and financial goals, AI can suggest tailored investment options. 3. Provide real-time updates. AI can keep investors informed with the latest news and developments that might impact their investments. 4. Automate portfolio management. AI can help rebalance portfolios and execute trades based on predefined strategies. Overall, AI adds value by making data-driven decisions, reducing human error, and offering personalized insights.
Cool. Thanks, Junie. Appreciate it.
Okay, I have a conspiracy theory. So just like, well, I'm thinking in my head, like this is something that I'm not saying you are, but you could be relying on for your daily insights, your daily news, your daily investment planning.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do that via the media, you can be affected by opinions. One man's trash of a stock is another man's treasure, right? Yeah. Like one person might say it's great, and one other person might say like, oh my God, stay far away.
Yeah.
How do you know that AI can be truly unbiased?
Yeah. So this is the thing, right? So that's a really, really good and deep question.
I'm actually proud of that question.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. No, that's a good one. That's a really good one. I'll say this, right? So number one, you can never be sure that it can be unbiased, because at the end of the day, it's genuinely like, who's the model, like who created the model, right? Where it's like OpenAI. Right. If you guys ask me,
it could be like, benefiting them.
Yeah, like if you guys ask me, like, should I trust OpenAI? Fuck no, absolutely not. No, don't at all. And this is really where it comes down. If you guys remember the last episode, we talked about Venice and Venice AI, where it's like decentralized and it's your own data and everything else. You can't trust AI, but what you can trust, or rather what, I mean, you should always, there's a saying in crypto, it's called trust but verify, is when you feed it a certain, like when you feed it the data, then it's like it can analyze data, like you heard Junie just say, it analyzes data at a rapid pace that you as a human probably could never like even like imagine or even begin to comprehend, right? So if you want to look at the Bitcoin price over the last 5 years and try to analyze like specific things about Bitcoin, it can do that really fast and be able to generate you outputs really quickly. And you can feed it the sources. So you can say, use this website or use that website, right? That is completely up to you. But as far as bias, when it comes to like opinions about things or like, look, it's been trained. AI is trained on a, like, I can't even tell you how much data. Is that data correct? I can't tell you 100%. That's where you have to ultimately go out and verify. But when it comes to financial decisions, right? And you're actually thinking about like, I want to know about X, Y, and Z. And you know that there's definitive data points in certain sources. You can feed it those data points and it will process that information for you really fast, for you to be able to obviously make like some better and maybe even more in certain cases, like real-time decisions of whether you should either buy something, sell something, hold something, totally up to you. But yeah, good question.
So yeah, so you can kind of use AI then to, I guess it would be great for like historical, say I'm just now getting into crypto and like, show me like the trends, show me and like what has contributed to the downs and ups, like what were the news stories that sort of like affected it, and maybe that helps people with their overall learning of sort of the volatility of it.
I think
and that can help make them make more
informed decisions.
Yeah.
I think people just need to be curious, right? And I think this is where a lot of time, like when I think about like crypto, AI, and kind of like the average user, like the banking system works because people are inherently lazy, right? Like we give up a certain level of convenience, right? Like in order, like for like, or a certain level of like convenience for, or security for convenience. Now it's like a responsibility, right? But if you're the one that's in charge of your own money, then you want to be the one to be able to say like, okay, like I'm going to make sure that this is this. So I'm asking these AIs 1,000,001 different questions because I genuinely want to understand. But a lot of people are just like, I don't have time to do that, right? Like I don't have time to do this, or I don't have time to do that. But you can still use AI like in a given capacity, like in the same sense where it's like, I can still tell AI like, hey, this is VV Magic's account. This is her wallet. I need you to copy trade everything VV Magic does, because obviously I've looked at historically, wow, VV Magic does great in the crypto markets. I want to follow her. So because you have an open chain, I can just literally say, hey, here's the blockchain that you're using. This is the wallet address. I want you to track everything that VV Magic is doing. And every time VV Magic executes a trade, I'm going to give you my wallet and you're going to execute that same trade. It's like the Nancy Pelosi effect. You remember? You know what that is?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I just recently saw a reel or a TikTok of basically what you're saying, but AI wasn't involved. It was just a crypto investor mentioning like some of the top wallets that he uses some website to follow, and he's watched the transactions and seen like this person knows what they're doing, so I want to follow what they're doing. But in a sense, if you're using AI to do that, you're taking out all of the grunt work. Right? Like you now sort of have like a personal assistant doing all that for you. So it's like one step above that. So do you think that there can be are there people like making businesses off of this where like they're like, oh, use my trusted agent and I will, make you like it's ironic because then they're actually now becoming sort of like a centralized institution in a sense, right? Because they're now becoming your broker.
In a way, yeah, right? So it's like there is going to be trade-offs, but yeah, like you hit the nail on the head. Yes, there are full-on agents that are out there now, or swarms of agents that are doing different things, right? So you can have an agent that is just focused on gathering all the news. And once that agent gathers the news, it then passes it off to another agent that then processes all that news. But what you were describing was essentially like your wallet, like you're whale watching, right? Like you're like a lot of people do this, like to watch like whale wallets to see like what are they actually doing. And in that instance, like watching is going to be better than essentially executing, because you always want to make sure, right? There needs to be a point where you, the human, have to intervene and say, do I actually want it to do this? What I'm saying is, yes, there can be businesses built off this, but the way in which I'm using this is there's people that, like, if you employed, let's say, this strategy of let's say DCA, which is called dollar cost, which is short for dollar cost averaging. And if you dollar cost average, like on Coinbase, you have the option to essentially buy $20 a week in Bitcoin, right? No matter what the price is, I'm buying $20 every single week. And if you did that historically over the course of time, like there was a guy that had a perfect instance where like he lost his wallet, whatever, but he essentially DCA'd about $85,000 over the course of, I don't know, 8 or 10 years. And that $90,000 was worth over $1.2 million today, right? So like slow and steady. So that is what AI can use now. And you can do that now on Bitcoin, literally right now, without any Coinbase, without any, like, you don't have to set it on Coinbase, because remember what we said, not your keys, not your crypto, the whole centralized exchange. Like there's going to be obviously some vectors there where it's like, I don't know. We saw what happened with FTX. If you want to do this completely self-custodially, meaning you are in charge of your wallet, there are things now that are on Bitcoin, and Bitcoin, what we call layer 2, is like stacks, where you can ultimately set it and forget it. Every day by $5, every week by $20, every month by $30, whatever the case is. And slowly, you're now DCAing into a position and you're accumulating Bitcoin as it continuously moves. And we've seen over the long run, with a finite supply of Bitcoin, now all of a sudden, like in 3, 4, 5 years from now, that's a really profitable strategy. So think about the bullshit that you buy in terms of like a $10 coffee from fucking Starbucks. Cut that. Use that to DCA into Bitcoin on a daily basis. All right, you need your caffeine, figure out a cheaper way. Take that $10 and go start DCAing into Bitcoin, and you're going to be much, much better off. But yeah, Magic, there's tons of businesses that are being built off of this. Tons of them. Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, like, where does it even, I guess the possibilities are endless, because like the stuff that we're talking about in this episode, like it's stuff that I never would have thought of, or some of this is stuff I'm learning literally today. And it's like, where, like, I never even thought, when we were talking about AI, I never even thought about like incorporating AI into crypto as like a business, and that like some nerd behind a computer can create his own agent and basically turn it into like, his own, like, not financial institution, but you know what I mean? Like his own business of helping people manage their money with his tool.
Yeah. The power that like when we say like this puts like the power back in like in people's hands, it's insane how like you need to take that literally. Here, look what Bildo wrote. A guy invested $30 a day for 7.5 years into BTC. He invested a total of $83K. It's now worth over $1 million. There you go. That's exactly the example that I was thinking of, right? 7.5 years, $30 a day, right? Now, granted, maybe $30 is a lot for a lot of people. Like, okay, fine. Do $10, do $5. Whatever it is that like is going to be beneficial for you or that you can afford to do, that's the beauty about this. So maybe if you did 10% of that, right, you would have invested 8K, you would have had over 100K. Okay, chop that by 90%. Who's complaining about that? But we have to get into this mindset now. And it's really hard because there's so much quick money, and you see so many people making quick money out here that people really are kind of geared towards, I want to make quick money. Take the time to really like expand and look at the time horizon and say to yourself, like, I need to start looking at this in terms of years and not like days and weeks and months. Because if you do that, then you can genuinely, I promise you, you won't feel $5 to $10 every day. You won't. You genuinely won't. Just do that every single day. And in the long run, you'll come back and you'll thank me and Magic for being like, oh my God. And don't forget our cut. Okay? We take a cut. Everybody. It's true. It's true, man. You can do so many different things. Hold on. Let's see if Junie's back alive and we can see exactly. Maybe she can give us some examples. Hey, Junie, can you give us some examples of like how somebody would actually like use AI or why DCAing, let's say, into Bitcoin is, let's say, a profitable strategy, and how people really need to have like a long-term outlook and kind of like mesh those things all together and really kind of give us your outlook on how the average user can maybe utilize these tools.
Sure. Dollar cost averaging, DCA, into Bitcoin is a strategy where you invest a fixed amount regularly, regardless of the price. This helps reduce the impact of market volatility and lowers the risk of making a large investment at the wrong time. Over the long term, this can lead to a more stable and potentially profitable investment. AI can enhance this strategy by analyzing market trends and providing insights to optimize your investments. For example, AI can help identify the best times to buy or suggest adjustments to your DCA plan based on market conditions. Ultimately, combining AI with a disciplined DCA approach allows average users to make informed decisions, stay consistent, and maintain a long-term perspective on their investments.
Thanks, Junie. See, like that's genuinely what it is capable of actually doing, right? Like, and Hanano just put this best, right? It's the best, and Bill too. It's better than a 401k. It's better than your savings account, right? Like, if you believe in this tech and you believe in this and you actually understand it, and that's what we're here trying to help you guys do, then this is the way that people need to go. A lot of times it's not the sexiest, right? It's not the flashiest. It's not, oh my God, I made this much. I made this. It's just not. But I promise you, like down the road, like when you have that money to essentially buy the house that you've always wanted to buy for the fucking price of a coffee that you were spending every single day because you were DCAing Bitcoin, you're going to be chilling and being like, God damn, like I'm really happy that I did this. So if you would have asked me 4 years ago, like 3.5 years ago, like, are you going to own a Bitcoin? I would have been like, there's no way my dumb ass is going to be able to own a fucking full Bitcoin. It's impossible. But now it's like you get so close, like when you see it and you see it clearly, like, and you won't see it until you try. And I want to be clear on that with everybody. I'm not saying to everybody, like, you need to go out and do this now or else you're never going to make money. No. Play with small amounts like we talked about last week or the week before and try and understand exactly what's happening. And when you watch and you're able to see your money grow, then you like see it for yourself. You have to see it with your own eyes, because listening to me, listening to Magic, listening to anybody else that tells it to you is not going to fucking do it. It's not. You have to, if you're like me, you have to see things for yourself. You have to understand it for yourself in order to be like, you know what? Like, this makes sense to me now. And the only way you're going to get there is if you try. Yeah.
Fair point. Let's look at Acro's question. How complex is it for an individual to make its own AI? So for you, for instance, like what went into you making Junie?
Yeah. So that's a heavy question. Ultimately, it's not, quote, easy, right? Like you have to ultimately decide what kind of an AI do you want, right? Like what do you want to use the AI for? So you can create like different, what's called custom GPTs, or now obviously like you can create different agents. And when you create these things, you have to ultimately decide like, what do I want it to do? So you have to think about like a use case and say to yourself, like, this is what I want it to be. So if you want to create, let's say like a DeFi agent, right? Where it's like, I want it to tell me everything. Like I said, you can ultimately give it data sources. So you can say, hey, I want you to take the news from, let's say, Cointelegraph or Coin Bureau or Financial Times or Wall Street Journal. And I want you to use that as one of your data sources. I then want you to take, let's say, social data from X or from Instagram or from TikTok and essentially analyze all that information to be able to see, well, what are people actually saying about either DeFi or let's say a specific protocol or whatever the case is. And you kind of create like this, it's you put the formula you think of the use case, you then put the formula together yourself and figure out where do I want the data to come from? And AI can do the analysis and everything else in the background for you. That's a really, really, really simplified version, and it is not that easy to create. So Acro, it's not easy. It's pretty tough to be able to do, but because this tech is moving so fast, it's getting easier and easier as every single day goes by, because the tools are now becoming much more like no code friendly, as they say. And why am I doing air quotes every single time? But it is what it is.
That's the one thing about being on camera is you'll notice all the really annoying
The
things that
hell?
you
But
do.
I feel like you're relevant. You know what I mean? No code, right? Like it's like half the no code shit that's out there. It's not really no code, but whatever.
Wheels asks an interesting question, which I'm kind of curious too. Like, if I were to go to ChatGPT and I type in the exact same thing that you type in, is it going to give the exact same answer?
So it depends what the question is, right? Like it won't give the exact same answer, right? Because like I can ask it the same thing. And this is a good question because this is one of the first things that I ask myself. It's like, where is it pulling the data from? Like, how is it actually disseminating the data? But ultimately what it's doing is it's going to give you like the same like general answer, unless it's something very specific, right? Like data based, right? So if it's like, hey, what's 2 + 2? Is it going to give you 4 every time? Yeah, of course it is. But like, if you ask it a simple question of like, explain this to me word for word, it's not going to do that. And like, it's not going to give it to you word for word, because what AI uses is something called NLP. That's N as in Nancy, L as in Larry, P as in Peter. It's NLP. It's called natural language processing. And this is a really crazy concept to wrap your head around. But like, what it does is it literally looks for the actual next, like it creates these answers on the fly based on like the data set that it's already been trained on and all these different algorithms. But it literally looks for the next letter in the sequence to be able to give you an answer. So I'm going to here. Hey, Junie, can you do me a favor? Can you describe, like, if somebody were, let's say, to ask you or anybody, like the same exact question, would you give us the same exact answer?
No, not necessarily. AI can provide varied responses based on different factors like context, phrasing of the question, or updated information. So while the core message might be similar, the wording and details could change each time.
Okay. Now, can you actually explain what NLP is, like what you actually use in order to formulate your answers? But give us like the layman's explanation, right? Like give it to me like super simplified and easy to understand.
Sure. Natural language processing, NLP, is a technology that allows computers to understand and respond to human language. It's like teaching a computer to read, listen, and understand text or speech, just like a human. By processing and analyzing language patterns, NLP helps generate relevant responses, making it possible for AI to understand and communicate with people in a natural way.
Makes sense. Thanks, Junie.
You're welcome.
All right.
If you have any more questions or need further clarification, just let me know.
Yeah. So it's literally the way in which like human language gets translated between computers and humans. It's fucking crazy when you say, you say that. Yeah. So Wheels, I hope that was a good explanation, that was clear. But when you really start to because everyone has the aha moment, and a lot of people genuinely don't know. Like when you have the aha moment, when I first discovered this shit, I was just like, what is this? This doesn't make any sense. What is this sorcery? So all of a sudden I'm typing in questions, and all of a sudden you see words popping up on the screen. You're like, oh, what? It's crazy.
We're always on the same wavelength, I swear. You are literally going to my next question, which now we've sort of gone through what I wanted to cover. But what made you decide to make Junie? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, so I really thought about like once I saw like the actual like capabilities of this tech, and I said to myself, like, this is something, like, this is crazy. Like I'm actually able to just ask this thing a million different questions, and it has not only access, like, because your first thought is, how is this different than Google, right? Like that's your first thought. Like I could just go to Google. Shut up.
Oh my god.
Maybe a little bit, Bilbo. All right, maybe a little bit. All right, and guys, don't forget.
You poor thing.
But your first instinct is like, wait a minute, like I could just go to Google, and like Google has access to the whole web. Like, what do you mean? Like this is the same thing. It's not. And the reason why I decided to create Junie was because I really saw how this can actually help my day-to-day, right? So if people really take a step back, and the way in which they can, because everyone's going to use AI like very differently, right? Like I'm going to use it differently than Magic, how you're going to use it, and how everyone else is going to use it. But when you actually think about like your specific use case, you as the use case, like look at your life and like where you think, like I had to ask myself, how can this thing make my life easier? Or how can it add value to my life? Because what people genuinely need to understand about AI is meant to be the assistant. It's not here to take over, right? People are like, we're going to lose jobs. Oh my God, it's going to take my job. Man, stop. It won't take your job if you, as the human being, understand how to actually apply this to what it is that you do and your daily life. This can do everything. Like, I'll give you the perfect example. When I showed my mom how to actually like how this works, right? And she was just like, who's Junie? And I was like, Ma, like, listen, you guys obviously got that great clip last week. But when I showed her that I could literally take a picture of the refrigerator, like all the items in the refrigerator, and Junie can ultimately look at all of those items and tell me every single one of them. And then I tell Junie, hey, can you do me a favor? Go to Amazon and reorder anything that like I'm missing, or reorder everything that's low. It can literally do all of those things. And when I showed my mom that, like,
are you serious?
Yeah. If you take out, like, if you go into your refrigerator right now and you take a picture of what's in your refrigerator, right? And like clear picture, you upload it and you say, hey, tell me what's in this image. It'll give you a full layout of exactly what is in your refrigerator, like name brand, like mayo, ketchup, this green piece, you got steak, you got this, you got that, everything. And then it'll ask you, now where we are is it'll ask you, like, do you want me to order these from anywhere else? And if you connect, let's say your OpenAI, like your GPT, to your Amazon account, like you can do with agents, I don't know why I keep doing this, I'm sorry. If you connect it there, it can and give it permission. It can literally go and reorder all of those items for you. It can order the items that are, let's say, missing. If you want to have it compared to an item, like a picture from the previous week, like, hey, I just went shopping. This is my full grocery list. Cool. 5 days later, this is the update. What are we missing? Do me a favor and reorder everything that we're missing. It can genuinely go out and do that for you right now.
No, I have a very, very serious question that I'm truly intrigued by, and it would change my life. Can I take a picture of my refrigerator and say, give me a recipe of what I can make with what I have in my refrigerator?
Not only will it give you a recipe, but like if you tell it, hey, these are all the ingredients that are in, I need a keto diet for a week. All right, just using these ingredients, I need you to tell me what I could do. Or I'm on the Atkins diet. This is what's in my refrigerator. Can you give me exactly what's what? I don't know what to do with my hands. Yeah, this is the Atkins diet. Fuck you. This is what I'm going to do with my hands below. Okay. Like, this is what I have like in my fridge. It will literally spit out. This is what I mean. You have to think about, like, step outside the box. Step outside the box of what you think is possible. Because a lot of people are just like, Magic, you saw how you just reacted and you were just like, shut up. What? Like, you,
yeah.
Yeah. You can genuinely do that.
Dave.
Oh. Yeah. Just saying. Go take a picture of your refrigerator. I think it would be really cool.
Actually, I'm not going to do it right now.
Why not? I think that'd be fucking amazing.
Because I haven't seen my refrigerator in a week. I don't want to know what it looks like.
But like, I highly encourage everybody to do those things, right? I don't know how we went from DeFi to taking pictures of your refrigerator, but it is what it is. Like, capability.
This is what happens when we get together.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it is what it is. But this is the capabilities of genuinely like what AI can actually do right now for like a lot of people, and it can simplify life so easily. Like, I mean, recipes, like everything. Like, you heard me. I don't know if I said this on. Actually, I don't know if I said this on here. I think I actually might have talked about this on a space, but like, without going into like too many details, like my dad was like recently hospitalized. Nothing crazy, right? But like, you know, going there, I was saying to myself, like, I don't know shit about how to read a chart. I don't know anything about how to read medical data.
Oh my God, did you use it?
Like, I literally said, I need access to like my dad's file. And they were like, oh, he has an account on Mount Sinai. I literally go on Mount Sinai because now it's like, oh, you have to wait for the doctor to come and talk to you. Blah, blah. I'm not waiting for this.
Wow.
I downloaded every single test that they gave my dad off of like his Mount Sinai, like, what's it called? And I uploaded it and I said, I need you to analyze every single one of these tests, the results, like, and come back and tell me not only what it is, like what happened, but I also need you to tell me what are the questions that I need to ask the doctor, right? When he comes back and he says, hey, Dave, A, B, C, D. And when the doctor came back, I had a list of 5 to 10 questions that I was like, all right, doc, like, what's the deal with this? Is there something wrong with the kidney? Is there something wrong with this or that, whatever? And the doc was like, wow, these are really like great questions. And not only that, now that his diet, speaking of diet, now that his diet has to change, he was like, listen, you got to like, there's a small little thing where it's like, you got no more sodium, like very low protein diet. Like you got to like make sure you make these changes. I then went out and after seeing all those tests, like Junie printed me out an entire grocery list that I then had her order. And then after the grocery list that I ordered, I went from there to like, what are the things that I need to tell my mom, who is the one making my dad food on a daily basis, that she needs to focus on? And what are the items that like he can't have anymore and what he can have and what he should be having, and essentially what she should be shopping for. And think about that, right? Like that was never possible before. So now I feel that much more confident that like, okay, I know my dad's going to be good. Like we're making all these different changes. I understood what the doctor was saying. It's not like some fucking, who understands medical data? I don't understand medical data. We're not doctors, but the AIs do. Because they've been trained on all that data. So you could do some really, really impressive things.
Yeah. That's wild. Like it's crazy because I actually am really like enjoying this part of the conversation because this is all about, you know, AI with blockchain and crypto and everything. But just me personally, not being that like involved in AI and learning more about AI. I mean, I'm using it just to like write a YouTube description for a video, but like, this stuff is like mind blowing, especially when you bring up stuff about, I mean, I'm looking at, you know, when I go to the doctor or my kids are at the doctor or whatever, and I'm looking at these medical records and I see all these terms. I'm like, could you just explain this to me like I'm a 5-year-old? Because like, what am I looking at?
Yeah.
And just to be able to have tools like AI to not only simplify, but then also prepare you for what you need to do next.
Yeah.
It's the applications for the future are just limitless.
It's going to be crazy. Yeah. There's going to be so much. And it is growing. When I tell you guys, like, I'm not passionate like this for no reason. And yes, I might not know what to do with my hands. I don't know. But ultimately, it's like, it's growing so fast and it's moving so fucking fast that like people really need to kind of get on this bus because it can do so much, like so many good things, right? Like if I didn't have that at the hospital, I generally don't know what I would have done, right? Because like when my family calls me and they ask like, well, what's the latest with your dad or what's going on with this? And it's just like, I don't know. Like nobody wants to hear, I don't know, right? Like I want you hear like, oh, you spoke to the doctor? What'd the doctor say? And the doctor's like, it's this or it's that. And it's like, okay, cool. Like, nah, like this is where you get to understand and know for yourself. I genuinely know what's wrong, like what the issue is, what questions I need to ask, what the follow-up needs to be, right? Like you get to be the doctor, right? For your family. And that's just one use case, right? It's not like, hey, create a YouTube description and that's it, we're done. So much more.
Yeah, well, and you really get to understand it. Like that's what's, I mean, your example of the doctor's office is such a good one because you know, I've gone through different things in my life and with family and whatever, where there's, you know, or I've taken kids to the doctor and I've got my mom like, so what'd they say? And I'm like, they said a lot, but I couldn't tell you what any of it meant. Like, you know, like when I had my knee, it's like all these technical terms and it's like, you know, it would have been amazing to apply just like ChatGPT, AI, whatever it is. So like, just tell me like super simply what's actually going on with none of this, like, you know, medical terminology that nobody understands. Like, let's be real. Like, I don't like reading charts and being like, what does that mean though? But what does it actually mean?
Yeah, nobody does. It's like when I opened up when I created his account and I started looking at all the tests and like because there was test after test after test, and you'll see like, you know, they try and make it understandable where it's like this is the normal range and it's like this was a little abnormal or whatever. I don't know if a little abnormal means a major problem, right? I don't know if like massively, like I don't know what none of it means, right? The interpretation is everything, and that's why you have like doctors getting paid the money that they get paid. Because like this is the study that they've had. But now machines have been trained on all of this. Yeah, exactly. It helps with a lot of homework.
That's scary though. That is scary though. I'm not gonna lie.
My nephew, shout out to my nephew David, reached out to me the other day. He's like, "Hey, Tonton," he's like, "Hey, uncle, I need help." He's like, "I got this assignment. It sucks, and it's about like explorers, and we got to do all this crazy stuff, and we have to cite this and cite that." And I'm like, "Send it over." And he got assigned like this one explorer. I forgot who he got. I don't know if he got Magellan or whoever, and he had to follow like a very specific format. And I'm like, "Listen, I'm gonna help you with this, but like we can't, we're gonna make it so that like they can't tell that it's AI." So for all you parents out there, if your kids
You're a bad influence. You are a really bad influence.
Listen, my sisters will never know. Like I went out and I bought my nephew also like the Meta AI Ray-Bans last week. So like my nephew's walking around like live streaming, asking Meta AI a million questions. Like I am AI for everybody if I can, because this is how you're going to succeed. Like, look, we talk about blockchain, we talk about Bitcoin, we talk about all this shit being like generational, blah, blah, blah. It starts with knowledge. It starts with understanding like what this technology can actually do for you, and then how you can actually use that technology. So if you can figure out how to use it to your advantage, come on. And that's exactly what I plan on doing. Everything for every single person in my family, everybody watching these streams. So if you're somewhat smart, probably listen and start exploring and get a little more curious. Just saying. Yeah. What else we got?
You're extra feisty today.
I mean, look, this is it. I don't know what to do with my hands anymore. There's a vape in this hand. There's a water in this hand. I'm trying to keep them occupied.
Yeah, I don't have water.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, kids. It's 5 o'clock. Actually, it's 5 o'clock here.
I'm having, what is this? Romanian Zambuca? I don't know. But is this a vibe or is this not a vibe? Is it too much?
Zambuca at 5 o'clock? That is serious. You're welcome, guys.
Like I said, life's been something lately. So sometimes you gotta unwind. No, I think this is really good though. And I think we're about where we want to wind down. We covered a lot. And I feel like personally, and this stuff I actually retained, like you did a really good job of breaking it down.
Cool.
Very simplistically. And there were some really, really great, oh my God, Sleepin's here. Hi, Sleepin. And there were some really, really great questions from people in the audience. And I like, you have me wanting to really delve deeper and explore AI more, because that, I'm just thinking of like stuff like with your nephew, like homework, like a description for this, a description for that. And when you're telling me stuff like it's now ordering your groceries, and it's, you do pictures, and it's making your dinner for them, not making your dinner, but like giving you a menu for what you can make for dinner for the night. Like those applications, and it's only going to go more and more and more. Like it's wild to me. Yeah. So I like that the conversation like started off where it did, but then transitioned, because we wanted AI to be like a whole discussion and not cover just crypto. But I almost feel like doing the expansion into these other topics helps you understand even more why it is so helpful and beneficial to crypto and to money management and to investing, because there's so much that it can do.
Facts. So I love it. Like I love the questions that we were asked. Like I keep the questions coming. I hope it was beneficial for everybody. I feel like the longer we kept going, the more we started talking, the more the viewer number, like the viewer count kept moving up on YouTube. So guys, like we do this kind of like to help everybody here. And this is just literally based off I am by no means like an expert. This is just based off of like my experience and what I do on the daily. This is 24/7 for me. But yeah, like I love this. Like right after this magic, in 10 minutes, I'm now going to be running a space, right? Like my daily space is all things crypto. So if anybody that's listening wants to come over on X, do it. Come through all things crypto tomorrow morning. Also, like, so with Bildo, with AKA Bill Green, and I'll give you the Bill Green fucking air quotes. We're running a space tomorrow at 4 o'clock talking about like AI agents on XRP, right? So for any of you XRP maxis out there, right, bringing it back to the blockchain stuff, we're going to showcase like this new agent format that is absolutely going to go crazy on XRP. So if you're looking for different investment opportunities, trading opportunities, basic knowledge, I feel like we cover a good ton of stuff over here. So yeah, Magic, this was dope. I love it. I love doing this with you every single week. Appreciate everybody, obviously, that came through. And yeah, just help us push this thing forward, man. This is great.
Yeah, no, and please, like, by all means, like, share with everybody all the different things that like you're doing, because you're in spaces basically like all day, every day.
Yeah.
And you and I have had the conversation many times and this is kind of like what led to the birth of this live stream series, is that Dave does incredible spaces every day, wealth of knowledge, wealth of information. Like, it's amazing that you share this with all of us. However, and now I'm feeling more comfortable. Like, I'm still not comfortable to like speak or anything, but I'm feeling more comfortable going in and listening. But we wanted to start this off sort of as for a person like me, that I go into your space, and you and Bill Oak and Landy can be talking like pretty high level for me, where I'm just like, I hear you. I know the concept of what you're talking about. I would equate it to how I know Spanish, right? I can be in a room and people can be speaking Spanish. I had 4 years of Spanish in high school, and I can understand the gist of the conversation. Like, I know the topic and I know something here and there, but could I tell you exactly what is going on and what you just said?
Yeah.
No, I have no idea. And that's why some of the spaces are overwhelming for me. So I want what we do here, to sort of be like bridging the gap of those two worlds, right? Where you can be a beginner or you can be an expert, but like this could be sort of your middle point where you're learning a little bit, but then you can take it into spaces. So when you go to spaces, you have your like starting language so that you can start to understand and learn your language more so, and retain it more so, because I feel like I'm already retaining more when I go into your spaces as opposed to when I was 2 months ago. So I think it's really valuable. I think there's a lot of value there.
Let's go. I love it. I think you summed it up perfectly. Yeah, I'm glad that it's able to obviously do that. I'm happy to share like all the education. Like, you're asking like the best questions. You actually had the balls to better more than anyone to be like, you know what? Like, I don't give a shit if people think they're the dumb questions, because like we said in the beginning, like, it's people that think it's the stupid questions, it's the dumb questions that people are gonna like. F all that. Like, people genuinely need to be educated, and at the end of the day, like, if we're gonna help facilitate that, I think we're doing some kick-ass stuff. So yeah. Good shit.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you and I, we're going to get caught up in the next day or two on lots of things and start planning. And we're going to keep this thing going. And otherwise, make sure you guys are tuning into all the things that Dave's also doing on Twitter, because wealth of knowledge there. And we'll catch you next week, I guess, right?
That's it. Peace, everybody. And don't forget to share this on all the other platforms. Let's go. Bye.
Bye, guys.